Hey there, my friends. It's Greg here. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to use each part of a pig to make different types of charcuterie. But first, let's take a quick trip up to the farm to go pick up this pig. There's a lot of birds on this little farm. These little pigs are going to be leaving the farm pretty soon. They're getting sold to be raised somewhere else. Yep, she's got goats here too. Here's a Tamworth sow, and the black one is a Berkshire boar. Pig I'm getting is a Tamworth Berkshire cross. These are the ones that are getting slaughtered today, but they don't seem to know. These little piggies are just getting a little rest in with mom. There's Richard and his assistant. Richard's working on the pig that I'm taking home today. All right, well, I'm back home now. Looks like I got some work to do. What I have here is the hind leg, or the ham, in the midsection, which contains the ribs, the belly, and the loin. In front of here would be the shoulder. But I had the guy that slaughtered these pigs, or this pig, I had him cut the shoulder off because it wouldn't fit in my cooler. In hindsight, I kind of wish I'd asked him to cut the leg off instead of the shoulder, because I don't have a whole rack of ribs. I've got most of a rack of ribs, and then I've got a few bone rack on the shoulder part. So that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this tenderloin, and then I'm just going to separate the leg. Do that with the other side. Let's get to business here. I made some butchery videos with last year's pig if you want to check those out for some more butchery details. But I'm just going to fast forward through a lot of this butchering this year. Now I've got my pig pretty much split up into more or less its sub-primals here. So let's start from head to tail. Right here, this is the jowl. I'm gonna make some guanciale out of that. There's my guanciale. That's gonna come out of this jowl. So this actually would be up here by the top shoulder. If we're doing it anatomically, this would be up here. This is the upper part of the shoulder, what's called the Boston butt. I'm gonna do with this piece here. It's basically under these feather bones and under this spine. That's where we're going to find the copa muscle. It's a little bit sloppy up here because where the head was attached. Once I take this bone off and clean that up, you'll see the other side of this where you'll see that's the loin muscle. And there's really a collection of muscle groups that all come together here. That's what makes the capicola, the gabagool. That piece is generally called the copa. When it's done, it has this pretty recognizable fat pattern in there. So you got the fat and you got these different muscle groups that all kind of come together. Basically the pork neck. You know, pigs don't really have necks. It's kind of part of the whole shoulder. But if they did, and they actually do, it's underneath this spine and these feather bones. This is the picnic ham. So that right there is where the bottom leg was. This I probably will just make salami out of. I'm not keeping any of this pig to smoke or barbecue. Really, I think the pork butt makes the best roast, but I'm going to use that for copa. And what I don't use, just going to use the copa for curing, and the rest I will use for probably sausage making with that. With the picnic ham, it's pretty lean. I'll probably use this mostly for salami making. I'm going to take my legs. I'm going to smoke those along with the back legs. I guess these are really called the shanks. Hock is what's below there, but those just got cut off and discarded because, you know, pig walks around in shit and straw and dirt, and it was a farm slaughter dress kind of situation. So those just get cut off and not used on this pig. That's the situation there. Then we'll move down. This is the pork belly. Remove these ribs. Those I will cook up on the smoker. And then I will make pancetta out of that. Pancetta you can either make flat like bacon. That's called pancetta tessa. Or I will probably make it like this, where it's rolled. So that's what I'll do with both of my bellies, because I actually have some bacon I've got curing right now. I don't need to make any more bacon, and I just want to make charcuterie out of this entire pig. Above the belly is the loin, and I'll probably just remove these bones, cook those up, baby back ribs, and I'm going to make lonzino out of the loins. This is where I'll get a lot of my extra fat too for making sausages and salamis. I'll get some of that off the shoulder too, because that's a lot of fat. And you see down by the tail, that's the saddle. They call that the saddle part. It does get quite a bit thinner on this side, so that I will probably save for salami. I like to make salami out of bigger chunks of meat. Any small trimmings that I get from cleaning up bones and whatnot is sausage making. I like to use the bigger chunks for salami making because as you cut meat up and grind it up into smaller pieces, it has more surface area, more places for bacteria and whatnot to potentially contaminate the meat. Cured dried meat is not cooked. I'd like to just start with the biggest chunk. Just has my chances on having a good contaminant-free salami. I'll get into the science of that in the video one of these days. But basically the whole thing about salami making is it's a controlled war of bacteria where you want to encourage certain molds to succeed over other molds. That's basically the whole art of making salami. I'll move my camera over, get a better look at the legs. Obviously this up here, this bone is where it attaches to that. That's basically the hip. If you think of it that way, that's the socket there. This I'm definitely going to just make salami and sausage out of. Clean up that H-bone good. And then the ham, once I bone that out, it has a large muscle over here. That's the culatello. And then over here is a smaller muscle called the fiocco. These are both considered prosciutto. Don't know if I'm actually going to cure the fiocco as a whole muscle this time. It's still really good, but compared to this, like if you have the choice of this or this, you're never going to pick that. You're always going to pick that. So I might actually use this again for salami making, because last pig I ran a little short on my salami making meats. So I'll probably use a little more of the loin, a little bit of this ham, the smaller muscle. Because yeah, I want to make sure to make a few salamis out of this pig. But that's how I'm going to use this. And then of course, back to the legs. These are the back legs. Yeah, I'm definitely going to smoke those. And I love using the smoked hocks for my New Year's Day meal because I like making the black-eyed peas and collard greens. I'm not superstitious or anything. I don't really believe in that helps you get wealthy or have good luck. But it's a damn good New Year's Day meal. Goes good for the hangover after New Year's Eve. And it's just a damn good way to start the year. It's kind of become a tradition over the last few years for me in the southern United States. Black-eyed peas and collard greens on New Year's Day is a tradition, and it's one that I like, so I've taken it on for myself. Let's go take a quick look at the culatello I have in my drying chamber. Let's take a look in the drying chamber. Couple salamis here. A little pancetta right there. That's from a much bigger pig than what I have here. My pancettas won't be that big. Not from this year's pig. This culatello is about ready to come out. It's been in here a little over a year and a half, honestly. That one's about ready. This one's been in here for about a year. That was from last year. I got a really big pig. So actually this is, if you watched my culatello video, this is the truffle one that I made. That's my truffle culatello. While we're in here, let's just have a look. This is a slow fermented truffle salami I've got going. Just starting to get a little bit of mold growth on that, which is good. We like the white mold. Down the bottom here, got another culatello right there hanging out. This layer on top, it's called sunya. It's a mixture of rice flour and rendered lard. Helps slow down the drying so that it can have more time to age, because time is flavor. And speaking of time, if you've watched my videos for a while, you've been seeing this thing hanging forever. I'm a little nervous that it may actually not be any good because they didn't really butcher it right. I never took out the H-bone, so it's got that socket in there, and I'm a little nervous, but I just gotta suck it up and take it out of here. It's been in here for like 3 years now. It's not too dry though. I think I'll get it out one of these days. Maybe I'll make a video of it. And then I got some nduja, so I'm excited to try this. This has been in here, I think. Don't have a tag on it. This is basically a spreadable salami, so that video will be coming up pretty soon because this is about ready to come out. Yeah, that's a few things going on in here. I will be making a video of my drying chamber and how I made it pretty soon here. I'm waiting to see if I can't get a couple links for you guys for the Inkbird controllers that I use. I use these Inkbird controllers to control the humidity and the temperature, and trying to get you guys see if I can't get a discount code for you all. Said I'd be doing it in February, but it's probably going to be coming out in March or April actually for that video. So anyway, yeah, that's what's happening in here. Keep this thing at 55 degrees Fahrenheit roughly and about 80% humidity. See, obviously it's warmed up a little because I've had the door open for this whole time here. But yeah, we'll go over this in a video in the near future. Let's head back to the table and wrap this up. We got to wrap up all this pork, get it frozen. Might keep a couple pieces out just to start on some new projects, but honestly I have a lot started in my fridge that needs to go into my drying chamber, but I need to cycle some things out of there. So I will be doing that. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I already have a video on my Culatello, Capicola. I'm in the process of making a Lonzino one. I've got smoked ham hocks, guanciale. Check them out if you haven't seen them yet. Make sure to subscribe. It helps out the channel to get out more to more people. If you're feeling generous and you want to support my channel, me making these videos, you can drop me a super thanks, give me a tip. That could help me get another pig to make more charcuterie, salami, sausage videos. But whatever it is you do, make sure you're putting some love into the food you make and the food you process and the animals you may or may not raise. Peace all.